This is Jason Sabalo, and I blog under the name The Masked Thomist. I occasionally get asked, what is a Thomist? A Thomist is a philosophical and or theological follower of the thinking of the great St. Thomas Aquinas, which naturally enough raises the question, who was Thomas Aquinas and why is he so important? St. Thomas Aquinas lived from 1225 to 1274 AD. He was a friar of the Order of Preachers, also known as the Dominican Order, and he was a priest of the Catholic Church. He is widely recognised as one of the most significant figures in the history both of Christian theology and of Western philosophy. He lived during a period when the writings on metaphysics and ethics and a number of other topics of the great Greek philosopher Aristotle were beginning to filter back into Western Europe, and there was a huge question of how do we understand these writings, how do we integrate them into our faith, and how do we understand the relationship between faith and reason. So St. Thomas was important because he is, as Pope St. John Paul II put it, a crucial figure in the history of the great dialogue between faith and reason. He is also important because he is the theologian and the philosopher whom the popes, the bishops, the councils of the church have most praised throughout history. St. Thomas is important because he is an incredible example of humility. You might think that this incredibly intelligent man who was this great exemplar of philosophy and theology might be a certain degree of intellectual snobbery. Actually, so far from the case. If you read the accounts of the people who knew him, everyone comments on his great humility and on the great love that he had for everyone he met, from the greatest to the humblest. And in fact, for a long time when he was a student, his brilliance went unrecognised because he was too humble to show off just how smart he was in class. He is important because in this day of interfaith dialogue, he was a Catholic thinker who was greatly influenced by a number of Islamic theologians and philosophers, most commonly the great Islamic thinker Ibn Rushd, who is generally known in the West as Averroes. And so for all of those reasons, you should want to know more about St. Thomas Aquinas. If you are interested, I will provide a link down below to a longer video by me which discusses who he was and why he's important in slightly greater detail. I've also got a link downstairs to my blog, so if you want to check out more of my writings, you can do that. This is Jason Sabalo. I blog under the name of The Masked Thomist. Thank you very much for watching.